have I got a surprise for you. It has happened just now, and I'm coming to you live from the cab of my truck at Epcot because we were here and celebrating, but this is really important. So I'm gonna take you through today's video right here on the screen in the truck because this is some big news. This is some great news, especially for those of you who have been waiting for the best-selling car in the entire world be a little bit more affordable. Now, there are some caveats to that, but we're going to cover all those details today because the launch series Tesla Model Y is now over and you can get a non-launch series Tesla Model Y. So we're going to break down the details of that because I've got pricing all right here and we even have a new color. So a lot to digest here. We'll get it all taken care of right here in the truck. All right, so here we are on Tesla's website, and they've already updated some of the animations here where you can see now starting at $41,490 after the $7,500 tax credit. So what that means is when we take a look at the order page, the base price on the new Model Y non-launch series, once we remove that $7,500, is $48,990. That's actually $1,000 higher than it was when it went away, which I'm kind of surprised, although it's not a huge change. Thankfully, I was expecting to see at least the same price, which was $47,990. So it has gone up $1,000 since the outgoing model was discontinued. So we're already $1,000 higher here. Now, the stats up here haven't really changed except for the acceleration. We now have the official number for acceleration, which is 4.6 seconds 0 to 60, which I had estimated was probably 4.7 seconds 0 to 60. So right in line again with expectations. Still 327 miles of EPA rated range, which is something like 5% improvement in range versus the outgoing model. And then we have all of our colors and no surprises on pricing for these options. It's $1,000 for the pearl white. It is $1,000 for deep blue metallic. And this is a new color actually. Instead of the standard solid black we had before, it's now diamond black. And it doesn't do justice on these pictures. Once you see this thing a little bit closer, you can see there's a lot of flake in this black paint now, and it actually looks really, really cool. So that's a new color on the exterior, $1,500 still as it was before. And then of course we have ultra red and quicksilver, both at $2,000. Those have not changed. Now for the wheels, for the 20-inch wheels, we're talking $2,000 for that upgrade, and it does reduce your range to 303 miles of range. So that number, although it is 24 less miles than the standard wheels, that's actually 8+% better range than the outgoing model with the 20-inch wheels. And a lot of that has to do with the tires themselves and some slight aerodynamic changes on the exterior of the car. So that's actually a really big improvement compared to just the standard wheels. Almost 10% improvement in range with the upgrade. So that's a pretty good setup. Now next, of course, the tow package, still $1,000. And now without the launch series, you can actually order the white interior, which is nice. So that was actually gone for a while because they didn't have any more white interior supplies, supposedly, for the launch series. So that completely sold out. Full self-driving, still $8,000. Now, what this brings us down to is here in the charging section. This is something that is new also. The mobile charger is included with all Model Ys. So that's kind of a nice thing that's been brought back. I don't know if this is going to stay. All Teslas used to come with a mobile connector, but the new Model Y comes with the mobile connector, which is about $275 option to add on to your order. So that's no longer something to compare to. So right now, doesn't matter which options you select, it's showing available in 2 to 4 weeks, and that even includes my area. I don't know why this is the zip code. So when I update this, you'll see 2 to 4 weeks. And it doesn't matter if I have no options. It doesn't matter if I have all the options. So if I deselect everything, including full self-driving, base, you can see down here, we're still talking 2 to 4 week delivery time. So we'll keep an eye on this, and presumably there shouldn't be any issues with a major backlog with the Model Y, given they have been producing these out of Giga, Texas for some time now. It's been really good for balancing output from a production standpoint. So they've been able to do a nice job with that. So I want to go back to launch series. So as you may know or should know, the launch series comes with absolutely everything, and it even comes with some things that aren't even here. So I had done the calculation previously and said it was about $4,000 cheaper once you factored in the cost of all these options. But it actually turns out, because of that extra $1,000, for everybody who bought the launch series, it actually ended up being $5,000 cheaper than optioning this thing out all on its own. Once I add all these options, you'll see for yourself. Full self-driving. There we go. So we're sitting at $62,990, but the launch series also comes with acceleration boost, which is another $2,000. So $64,990, it's $65,000 versus $60,000 for the launch series. Now, that said, at the end of launch series, which was honestly only maybe a little over a month, you could only get black interior. You could still get any exterior color, and you could get either wheel. So if you would have went with a base color, the base wheels, they all come with the tow hitch, you'd be looking at $57,990 for the same car today, which then is actually $2,000 more expensive before you factor in the acceleration boost. So essentially, every option was free that you wanted to add to the launch series is how that ends up working out. So $57,990 plus $2,000 for the acceleration boost, you're at $59,990, and that is the price of the launch series. So regardless of whatever setup you got, if you were planning to buy full self-driving, it ended up being either a wash or up to $5,000 in options for no additional cost. So it ended up being actually a pretty good deal. Now, another thing I want to look at while we're here, I want to go into inventory and see. I haven't actually looked yet to see what the inventory is in my area for the new Model Y. So let's go to inventory, new, and as it sits right now, there is no inventory of Model Y within 200 miles of my area. There were a couple launch series that popped up, so it was probably in order that got canceled last minute here and there, but there's no inventory anywhere in my area. And this has been the case for a while, since they sold out all the legacy Model Ys, which some of you got an incredible deal on an inventory Model Y the previous generation. Some of those were going for up to $10,000 off, which is absolutely crazy. I'm not going to go into a whole bunch of detail on the new Model Y here. I'll place a link to that video up here where you can check that out for yourself. A much more in-depth deep dive into the launch series, which will be the same as the non-launch series, just with every option selected. So you can see for yourself what some of these updates and changes are. My personal recommendation, not getting the launch series, I would spec this thing out with whatever exterior color you want and whatever interior color you want. I'd push you towards white, but having said that, I know some of you can't get past white interior, so I totally understand. I would do those things. I would skip on the wheels. I'm not a fan of the wheels, especially with the lighter colors. For the darker colors, they're okay, but for $2,000, keep that money and put it towards an aftermarket set that's going to look a lot better anyways. There is one more thing I want to look at. So when we change this to white interior, it looks like it does indeed change the dashboard to white, which is what it did on the old one. It's kind of hard to tell, and it may actually be that light gray, more of this color. It's hard to tell for sure, but on the launch series, that is actually a faux suede, which looks a lot better, and it's the same allegedly that goes into the black interior, which I like a lot better anyways. So something to keep in mind when you get the white interior. I don't believe comes with that faux suede dash any longer. So that's how this thing breaks out. I'm really excited to see with the Refresh Model Y, they didn't pull a Cybertruck where they had a limited series for a huge jump in price. That's all you could buy for an unlimited amount of time. It seems like they were very intentional, learned their lesson, and did a specific number of cars in the launch series, which is smart because they can use the time when they're trying to ramp production to only sell these limited production cars, and that'll help take care of that early demand push where with a steeper price that'll artificially bring down demand. So now that they're presumably caught up with production, they will start shipping these things out. And right now, 2 to 4 weeks, that's a pretty healthy lead time for the Refresh Model Y. So let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts? Are you going to pull the trigger on this Refresh Model Y? And if you do, let me know what color you're going with. I'm really interested to see this black in person because the pictures I've seen look really good. So that's it for us today. I thank you so much for joining us, and I can't wait to catch you on the next one.